12. Siamese algae eater. As their name suggests, these fish are popular for their algae-eating capabilities. Unlike other algae eaters that tend to be a bit more passive, the SAE is actually quite active, and will cover your entire tank, but do prefer hanging out at the bottom of the aquarium. They enjoy a planted tank, they're peaceful, and they can be kept with guppies, Danios, and tetras. Their preferred food is algae, of course, but they'll eat anything they can find on the substrate, including insects, live foods, etc. 13. Otocinclus Fish. Another great algae eater that's a good choice for a guppy aquarium are Otocinclus fish, a fast-swimming fish with an insatiable appetite for algae. Otocinclus fish are more sensitive to improper water conditions, more so than guppies, so make sure your water parameters are excellent when keeping these two together. Another thing to keep an eye on is tank dynamics, as guppies may display fin-nipping behaviors with these fish around. 14. Danios. Danios, zebrafish, pearl danio, danio carry, queen danio, are another potentially good mates for guppy fish. They aren't aggressive towards each other, and they enjoy the same water parameters. The only caveat with this combination is that Danios are faster at getting to food than guppies are, which may leave some guppies hungry. Aquarists recommend dropping food at different locations into the tank so that all fish can get access to food. I also recommend having some scavenger fish in the aquarium that can pick up leftover foods. 15. Rainbowfish, Boesemans. A beautiful and popular freshwater fish, Boeseman's rainbowfish can be a good choice for a guppy tank mate. However, they're schooling fish that grow larger than guppies, therefore, offer them a large enough aquarium. Rainbowfish enjoy a densely planted aquarium, and will accept most fish foods, including live foods, that will help them develop their beautiful colors much better. They are durable fish that are easy to keep, moderately hardy, and they're usually good at fighting off diseases. Because they're active swimmers and show schooling behavior, make sure that you offer them at least a 50 to 60 gallon aquarium. 16. Clown loaches. These schooling fish will peacefully coexist with nearly any freshwater fish, including guppies. They're also called scaleless fish because of the very tiny, embedded scales that are barely noticeable. They require a large aquarium, as they can grow to up to 12 inches in size, plus they need to be kept in a school. They enjoy a planted aquarium that offers them shade and hiding places, as they don't like bright lights. They prefer live foods and get along with virtually all non-aggressive freshwater fish. 17. Snails. Some snails that you can keep with your guppies include ramshorn snails, nerite snails, Malaysian trumpet snails, rabbit snails, mystery or apple snails. These snails are prolific algae eaters and a low-cost option if you're looking for a peaceful and low-maintenance cleanup crew for your aquarium. While curious and hungry guppies may have a go at shrimp, snails have a built-in defense system that guppies will find hard to penetrate. 18. Ram cichlids. Cichlids are notoriously aggressive fish, but some dwarf varieties like ram cichlids are much more peaceful compared to their relatives, and thus, they make good tank mates for guppies. These fish are beautifully colored, featuring many gradients, iridescent bodies, and high fins. They don't grow large and do well in a tank that's at least 12 gallons in size. They can be kept with other live-bearing fish that are also compatible with guppy fish such as swordtails, mollies, and platies. As one of the few cichlids that can peacefully live with small live bearers, ram cichlids aren't difficult to keep. However, they are a lot more difficult to breed compared to live bearers. 19. African dwarf frog. If you're curious about keeping frogs in your community tank, the African dwarf frog can be an interesting choice for a guppy fish tank. As bottom dwellers, they don't interact much with guppies, which mostly hang around in the midsection of the water column. The only problem with keeping these two species together arises at feeding time. Guppies will voraciously eat the food before it reaches the African dwarf frog, which is a slow eater. Therefore, if guppies are kept with the African dwarf frog, you'll need to spot feed your frog to make sure it gets enough food. 20. Discus fish. These discus-shaped fish are a graceful and colorful addition to a guppy fish tank. They enjoy a planted aquarium and will thrive on a carnivorous diet. The only issue with keeping these fish together is that their water temperature requirements don't perfectly match up. Discus fish enjoy warmer water than guppy fish. However, if you find fancy guppy fish that enjoy higher temperatures or discus fish strains that do well even in waters that are slightly lower in temperature, you may be able to find a middle ground solution that pleases both types of fish. There are many fish that guppies will enjoy as tank mates. The key is to create an environment that works well for all members of the aquarium. Behavioral issues can sometimes be curbed, e.g. when keeping bettas with guppies, but others can't, which brings us to the tank mates guppies will not tolerate. Tank mates to avoid. When it comes to fish compatibility, it's good to also have an overview about the fish that should be off limits for guppies. In short, you should avoid keeping guppy fish with any predator or aggressive fish such as 1. Barbs. Tiger barbs, rosy barbs, gold barbs, and denison barbs are problematic fish that should not be kept with guppies because barbs will hurt guppies. As fin nippers, they're going to shred the long fins of guppies, causing irreversible injuries, fin damage, and potentially deadly infections. Barbs are also faster than guppies, therefore, there's no chance for them to escape barbed fish. Beyond the injuries that can be caused by barbs, the stressful environment your guppies will end up living in is also bad for their health. 2. African cichlids. I mentioned that cichlids are aggressive fish, and that the ram cichlids are an exception to the rule. African cichlids, however, are aggressive, fast and territorial fish that should not be kept with guppies. In fact, if placed into the same aquarium, guppies won't resist a day, as African cichlids will not hesitate to pick on them, causing fatal injuries. To avoid fights and injuries, usually aquarists keep only one type of cichlids in their tank. Fast and large fish that can defend themselves, like the African catfish, may be a good choice for African cichlids. 3. Oscar fish. Oscar fish are predatory fish that will eat your guppies the first chance they get. In fact, guppies are even used as feeder fish for them. Oscar fish grow large, up to 14 inches, and require spacious aquariums. There aren't many fish that can be kept with Oscars, but Jack Dempsey or Bala shark fish can be acceptable choices. 4. Goldfish. Large goldfish will make a meal out of their guppy tank mates, therefore, I don't recommend keeping them in the same aquarium. Plus, goldfish have a high bioload and prefer colder water than what guppies will tolerate. With so many points of failure, goldfish and guppies simply aren't a good match. 5. Killifish. Vividly colored and aggressive. The killifish isn't a good choice for a guppy fish aquarium, as they'll have a go at your guppies. Females are less aggressive and territorial compared to male killifish, but I still wouldn't recommend you to keep them together. 6. Flowerhorn fish. A strange-looking fish, the flowerhorn has a big bulky body and a brightly colored hump on its forehead. Simply by looking at this fish, it gives you the vibe that it's a bully. Flowerhorn fish are aggressive, territorial, and don't get along with other fish, and they're generally kept alone or in a couple. Even so, they'll display aggressive behaviors during mating time, so you'll need to keep an eye on them so they won't get into fights. Any aggressive fish that will fight guppies or will nip at their fins is dangerous for guppies. Large fish that may mistake guppies for food should also be out of the question when keeping guppies. Guppy fish have delicate flowy fins that can be enticing to fish with predatory instincts, so pick tank mates that won't bother guppies. Conclusion. Guppies are good-natured, peaceful fish that will enjoy the company of a large variety of equally sized, peaceful freshwater fish. Perfect tank mates for guppies include swordtails, mollies, platies, cory catfish, and few others I mentioned in this video. With some fish like bettas and angelfish, you must take various precautions if you're planning on keeping them together to avoid fights and injuries. If you want to set up a community aquarium, always do your research about the fish you can and can't keep together. I hope that this video will serve as a good basis for your research on the fish compatible with guppies, and you'll be inspired to keep other freshwater fish too alongside your guppy fish.